Welcome to 60 Skills. The topic of today's discussion is what is Qi? Well, all right, what is Qi? Qi largely refers to a level of reality that modern materialists consciously ignore. So, if you talk to most materialists, they look at the world as consisting of materialism. They'll give some leeway to the idea of mind, or that you have a mind. Unfortunately, this leaves out that intermediate level of reality in between. Now, any other culture on the face of the earth that isn't materialist tacitly acknowledges the existence of this. New Agers refer this to as the astral, and that's a really bad term. Just stupid beyond belief, but that's what we work with. A better way of looking at this level of reality is the level of sensation. Because, in many ways, you don't have a sense of touch or vision or hearing without its slightly less than physical component. So this level of reality between the purely physical and the purely mental can be called astral by some, or the realm of sensation, or the realm of energy. This is that mysterious energy all of the New Agers and like people tend to keep referencing over and over again. So, all right, let's talk about this sensation level of reality a little bit. A good way to look at this is something that can be touched but not grasped. This defines the idea of Qi pretty well. Now, also because it deals with sensation, it can seemingly come out of nowhere and disappear suddenly. It can exist for long periods of time, but have no purely physical cause. This is also the reason why things like emotion fall into this category or level of existence. And keep in mind, every level of existence has many different grades within it. So you have the near astral or near sensation or near energetic that looks a lot like the world floating around us right here. Whereas you get to the more refined levels of this, and it much more closely resembles the mental level of existence. So that is also something to keep in mind. All right, so we're talking about Qi, we're talking about energy, we're talking about sensation, we're talking about emotion. Again, something semi-physical that you can sense or touch, but cannot grasp. In certain Hermetic circles, this is often referred to as that stuff contained within your sphere of sensation. Again, we're talking about this sensation thing. Learning to work with this level of reality is usually done via exercises like building the ball. In fact, every good system of energetic qigong, meditation, martial arts that I've met has an exercise like this. And while I've gone over this a lot, and yes, of course, it's contained in the material on the Patreon channel, it has all the old app videos on it, and in the master course that I have as well. The short of it is you visualize inhaling air, light, and heat through the pores in your skin, into the center of your body, into your lower abdomen, and then you push this out on the exhale from the palms of the hands. You do this over and over again, inhaling through the pores, exhaling through the palms of the hand, until you begin to feel a ball of this sensation between your hands. That's how the process starts. And we generally work with that because what's described as clairsentience, or your subtle sense of touch, is the least degraded and easiest to activate of all the subtle senses. Most people can learn how to do this 10 to 15 minutes, maybe a few hours. I've rarely met an individual who couldn't do this within 10 to 15 hours of practice. Again, if you want to learn more about it, check out the Patreon account, check out the master course, go to Perseus Arcane Academy, and all that material is there. Okay. What else can we talk about in terms of Qi? All right. Everyone, and includes the Asian systems as well as the older Western systems that don't have a problem with this intermediate level of reality, refer to Qi or Pneuma or Elan or all these other things as the energy of life itself. It's something that's made by living things. Okay? This is also pretty clear. Inanimate objects can radiate a kind of energy if a lot of that has been pushed into them. But in general, living things, trees, people, animals, generate a lot more. And they generate it their entire life, and they stop generating it when they die. Okay, so this Qi has some relationship to life. All right. How else can it be trained? Well, it turns out there's a very big relationship between the amount of Qi someone can generate and breath. So now we're getting into the second part of what is commonly acknowledged as a universal characteristic of what we call Qi, its relationship to breath. So, things like pranayama or breath control are known for increasing the amount of Qi, again, this energy of sensation, that a living body emits. So, one of the easiest ways to do this is to simply get some exercise. Go for a run, lift some weights, do this kind of thing. And if you're dealing with someone who has decent clairvoyance, what you'll find is that they'll tell you that that Qi field or energetic field around you is bigger after you're done exercising. Pranayama, on the other hand, is a bit of an art and takes a while to learn. My favorite version of this is the Buddha's diamond palm system out of Western China and Eastern Tibet. However, I suggest that you find one that works for you from a qualified instructor, as this can be a little tricky. All right, so we talked about how Qi, or what is Qi, in terms of it is the realm of sensation that it comes from, okay? It's something pretty universally acknowledged by most cultures outside pure materialist cultures as an intermediate level of reality between the very physical and the purely mental. All right? It's something that can be touched or sensed, but not held or grabbed. Okay. Got that. There is a relationship between what is Qi and your health and your breath. Okay? That's now understood pretty clearly. So what else can be said about what is Qi? Well, one of the other defining characteristics of Qi is that time, as we understand it, doesn't really appear to apply to it. This is, as I talked about earlier, one of the reasons why emotion can seemingly come out of nowhere and disappear just as quickly. Likewise, something like pain. Again, pain is a sensory phenomenon. It can last forever because of an injury, and then one morning you wake up and it's simply gone. It doesn't necessarily slowly decrease over time. It's just there, and then it's not. So this is another characteristic of what is Qi. It is timeless. It is not bound by the constraints of time. So this is interesting. But again, if you read a lot of the older Asian texts, if you read a lot of the older Western texts, they all pretty much agree on this kind of thing. And keep in mind there are many different types of qi, just as there are many different types of ice cream, just as there are many different brands of cigarettes. Your choice. So, to sum up, what is qi? All right. Qi is a semi-physical level of reality that you can sense but not hold. It governs things like energy, emotion, and sensation. Living things emit it, and the amount of it you emit has a lot to do with your breath. Okay. And it is also something that is not constrained by the limits of time. So that's a pretty good definition for what is qi. Now, if you want to learn more about this, obviously come check out the 60 Skills Patreon account or check out the 60 Skills Master Course at Perseus Arcane Academy. Otherwise, as usual, train hard and be well.